Looks like the boy Sergey Derevyanchenko got some options. Reports say that he may fight Jermall Charlo, maybe even Canelo. And I'm going to explain and talk about it on this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. I got some stuff that I'm cooking up, and I'm just gonna, we're gonna take over this media game in boxing little by little. So appreciate everybody that has sent donations and join the Patreon. We got some new people that join, channel members, things like that. So you guys know who you are. Appreciate you. Let's keep growing and let's keep building this empire. Now, reports came out that sources are saying in the industry, Sergey Derevyanchenko, middleweight, is fielding an offer from not only Jermall Charlo, that's the one we knew about, is also Golden Boy, and give you guys my opinions and that kind of thing. Now, the thing is, the Canelo fight, Canelo in true fashion wants Derevyanchenko to fight at 168. So Canelo's always things with weight stipulations, bringing guys up, same day weigh-ins and rehydration clauses and things like that. It's no different here, and that's what Canelo would want to make that a reality. So that doesn't impress me as much if Canelo Alvarez wants to fight Derevyanchenko. The thing is, Canelo Alvarez, nobody told him to move up to fight Sergey Kovalev. In fact, that fight was a flop because he had to wait for UFC 241, I believe it was, Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz. So you obviously didn't have the combat fight of the night because you were sitting up there waiting for a UFC event, which, was a black eye for the sport of boxing. It didn't look good that DAZN did that. And in the MGM, the fans were growing restless, waiting for the main event they paid for. And MGM Properties begged Dana White to be able to appease the fans by playing the much more anticipated fight of the night, which was Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz for the BMF. So that was a terrible look for Canelo. And I've told you guys, since Canelo has jumped ship and got the DAZN, the benefit for him is his finances have increased. He got a record-breaking deal, but everything else has been dwindling down. His legacy type fights, they weren't able to put together Canelo versus Triple G3 that at some point some people wanted to see, but recently it looks like Triple G's on the decline. You look at Triple G's last fight with Derevyanchenko. I honestly believe Derevyanchenko beat Triple G. There were a lot of pro fighters in the crowd, like Devin Haney, who was at that fight and said the same thing. And Triple G just didn't look well in that fight. And at age 38, he still got 4 or 5 more fights with DAZN. And he's only 2 fights into his career, and he's looking like a different fighter. And he's not looking like the wrecking ball that HBO built him up as. So, Canelo versus Derevyanchenko stylistically, I think is a solid fight, but I just don't like the gamesmanship all the time with the weight and the weight clauses. And I don't like Derevyanchenko at 168. We don't know Derevyanchenko for 168. From Toriano Johnson to O'Keefe and the Danny Jacobs and Triple G, the 2 biggest names on Derevyanchenko's whole resume as a pro, because he only has 16, 17 fights somewhere in there. And the best names on his resume are 2 guys, Jacobs and Triple G, who coincidentally have fought each other and coincidentally have fought Canelo. So those are solid, very solid, great names on Derevyanchenko's resume. And he got knocked down by both, but he gave both a good fight. I think Jacobs' win over Derevyanchenko is actually probably more convincing than I think it is, for sure is, than Triple G. I don't think Triple G beat him. The Jacobs fight was just really close. And that's because they spend hundreds of rounds sparring each other. But fast forward to the future, in real time, stylistically, I'm not mad at Canelo versus Derevyanchenko. I just don't like the possibility of the Canelo games and Golden Boy games with the rehydration clause. I don't like the fact that if you fight Canelo and you can't knock him out, you never know what kind of judges' scorecards you're up against. And you also have to look at just fighting at 168, which is not the natural weight that we know Derevyanchenko for. He's not a tall guy, definitely muscular and in shape, but he's short, and he'd be a shorter super middleweight. And I just think Canelo's team and Canelo always looking for some type of weird edge. So the Jermall Charlo versus Derevyanchenko is undoubtedly a better fight. It's still a very good, interesting, stylistic matchup, and it'll be at Derevyanchenko's more innate weight class, and that's what I really like. And we know, from what I know from history of watching and covering Jermall Charlo fights, he don't little boy these other fighters. He could say, oh, I'm the A side and I want this and this and that, and he don't look all too difficult to deal with in terms of making the fight. I haven't seen him act like a diva. He just sounds like he's down to scrap and keep promoting and growing the Lions Only brand. So I think that's just overall the safer bet, that Charlo and Derevyanchenko. A lot of reporters and people who are talking about this, they keep talking about the Canelo angle, but I'm not really sold. Golden Boy, when's the last Canelo fighter that worked with the Al Heyman fighter? You know, Mayweather, that's one, but that was way back when Golden Boy was working with Al Heyman. Recently, who's he fought that's a Heyman fighter at all? Maybe Amir Khan, I think, at the time when Canelo fought Khan. That was several years ago, like 2016 or something. I think Al Heyman was still advising Khan at that point, but I haven't really seen it, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about Canelo versus Derevyanchenko. If there's serious offers from both, I think the more realistic, plausible one would be an Al Heyman fighter, Jermall Charlo, at middleweight WBC champion, so it's still a hell of an opportunity. And Charlo's a great fighter, and it's a great action fight, stylistic fight. Other thing I like about Charlo and Derevyanchenko is it gives and affords Jermall Charlo the opportunity to separate himself skill-wise from the other great fighters that Derevyanchenko has fought, like Triple G and Danny Jacobs. So if Triple G and Danny Jacobs had wars and Triple G got beat up in that fight, it looked like at one point the ref had to jump in, like Triple G was nearing a knockdown, or it looked like he was about to go down or maybe even get stopped, and the referee kind of broke up the action at a weird spot. If Triple G went through all that in that particular fight, then Charlo has a real life opportunity against a durable and game cagey fighter like Derevyanchenko to try to separate himself from the Jacobs performance, which was really chippy, versus Derevyanchenko, very close. Some people even said it went other way. And then the Triple G performance versus Derevyanchenko, where he obviously lost, but the judges still somehow had a unanimous, not even a split or majority decision, a unanimous for Triple G. So we know what time it is. So Charlo has a hell of an opportunity against a cagey guy, and it goes without saying, Derevyanchenko, this is a hell of an opportunity no matter what he chooses, because you could fight Canelo, who I believe still has a belt at 168. Even if he doesn't, he's a named guy. Or if he fights Charlo, that's a WBC middleweight champion, and that's already in your division, already aligned with your same people, and it would likely be on Showtime. So do you want to fight on the app? Do you want to fight on Showtime? The way DAZN is looking too, with Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, that fight falling apart over money. Chocolatito said he's not rematching Estrada unless he gets over $1 million. Billy Joe Saunders just took himself out of the Canelo sweepstakes, saying that he has too little time to prepare. Plus, they're asking him to do a pay cut. Like I said, Amanda Serrano said they asked her for a pay cut for an undisputed fight with Katie Taylor. Does DAZN even have the money, or are they willing, with how much money they have to pay Canelo Alvarez, right? Do they have the money to even get Derevyanchenko, a sturdy guy like that? Because you have to keep in mind, as I mentioned, in October of last year, Derevyanchenko fought Triple G, and if you watch that fight, you know he really should have beaten Triple G, and he got $5 to $6 million for that fight. That was a title fight, and he got a lot of money. So it's not like he's starving for cash, where he hasn't had a recent delightful deluxe paycheck. So if he got $5-6 million to fight Triple G, we're talking about fighting Canelo. I feel it would have to be double that to fight Canelo, because he's supposed to be the big fish, right? So I don't know that DAZN has the ultimate in Golden Boy. Not only do they have the funds, are they willing to spend the funds for that level of a fight, bringing Derevyanchenko to 68, things like that. You have to keep this in mind as well. Canelo had a brief negotiation with Derevyanchenko last year. He tried to fight Kovalev, and then Kovalev wanted what Jacobs got, which was $12 million. This is pre-pandemic, people. And Kovalev said, I want more money. Jacobs got 12, I need 12. I'm a light heavyweight champion. Respect me, respect my pedigree. And then Canelo and Kovalev spent all this time going back and forth, Golden Boy main events and Top Rank or whatever. They couldn't land on a deal. And then Kovalev ended up fighting Anthony Yarde, having a super tough fight there, almost getting stopped. And then Canelo fought him, which was a bad look for Canelo because we almost seen him get stopped in his last fight, and he's on a quick turnaround. And there was a rehydration clause off the record, you know? So then they switched gears, Team Canelo, and tried to negotiate with Derevyanchenko, but they couldn't solidify the deal and appease him monetarily by the IBF deadline. So Canelo got stripped of the IBF belt. It then became available for the #1 ranked guy, Derevyanchenko, and the #2 ranked guy, which was Golovkin, and entered Derevyanchenko, Golovkin. That's how that fight happened for the vacant belt. And really, like I said and been saying, Derevyanchenko should have won that fight. So I said all that to say this: if Canelo and Golden Boy couldn't give Derevyanchenko what he wanted when the economy was good, pre-pandemic, and they couldn't arrive at a number that they all agreed on, then he goes and fights Golovkin, really beats him and gets about $5-6 million. And now we're in a pandemic. I don't know. I feel like now what are they going to be offering? Because Derevyanchenko, he's probably, if the only way he goes to fight Canelo is if he's getting cashed out. And it's just an unbelievable deal. And he's like, yeah, I'll take the weight jump, you know, because he has to consider that. I'm moving up 8 pounds. I'm fighting a guy who's impossible to beat on the scorecards because you always have an Adelaide Bird type of scorecard or Levi Martinez that's real wide for Canelo. You have open scoring like Austin Trout. I have to deal with rehydration clause and such. So all in all, I think the better fight and the more reasonable fight, the more plausible fight is Charlo Derevyanchenko. But we'll see. You know, either way, Derevyanchenko can't go wrong. He got some great options and he deserves it because right now it should be a unification with Charlo if it's at 160 because he deserves that belt. He beat Golovkin, you know. But if he goes the Canelo route, props to him. He got what he wanted and he's definitely going to get cashed out if they have it like that. I'm just giving you my opinion of why I don't think the Canelo fight will come off. Let me know what you guys think. Sign up for ESPN Plus below. Get the ESPN Plus UFC 251 Jorge Masvidal Usman. That was just announced. Use my link. It does help the channel. You can get ESPN Plus pay-per-view for that fight. Use my link. Or you can get it as a standalone app or even bundle it if you want. ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All 3 apps, one price, $12.99 a month. So should be a good fight this weekend. UFC 251. Use that link. That's my thoughts. Derevyanchenko's a quality fighter. Golovkin ducked him the first time, and then we see why in the second fight because he really won that fight. And now karma's on Derevyanchenko's side. He's getting the good karma that he deserves because even though he got robbed, it looks like he has 2 great opportunities, and no matter which way he goes, he should be taken care of. Canelo or Charlo. Let me know what you like better, what you think is more realistic. They're in serious negotiation with Jermall, and I think that's a hell of an opportunity for him to showcase himself and try to separate himself from, again, Triple G's performance with Derevyanchenko or Jacobs. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.